Hey folks, and welcome back to the Inside the Mix podcast. If you are a new Inside the Mix podcast listener, welcome. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back. Now, this is a Christmas-themed episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to tell, hopefully, from their Christmas hats and the various Christmas bits and pieces that people have in their videos here. So this is aptly named the 12 Days of Synthmas. And the way this is going to work is I've got 12 questions and I've got a spinning wheel of names. So I'm going to ask each one of these questions and I'm going to pick a name at random, and then we've got, or they have, 5 minutes to answer the question. So 12 questions in total. But before we do that, let's go around and see who we have today. So let's start with Aisle9. Welcome. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm feeling a bit out of focus, but I don't know if that's honestly true. But yes, I'm fine. I'm very good. Thanks.
Fantastic stuff. I believe that is the server. It's low quality while we're recording, but don't worry. In the end, it will be good. Neon Highway, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Doing good. Not only does Aisle9 feel out of focus, but it looks a little bit out of focus as well. I wonder what it's like to feel out of focus.
Maybe we'll ask him that later towards the end. Typherion, how are you?
Doing good, man. Yeah, I also feel pixelated as well. I don't know if I look pixelated in real life, but hopefully it's just virtual.
You look good.
Like, it's just the pink fluorescent lighting.
Nice comment there from Aisle9. Now, this is the first time we've got a new producer, musician on the not on the podcast, but on the Synth Pals Virtual Pub. We've got your friend Esteves. Zhao, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Welcome me to the show. Thank you for welcoming me.
Fantastic stuff. Do go back and check the episode that I did with Zhao. I think it's episode 53, if memory serves.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And also the EP that dropped as well, so do go check that one out. We'll have a chance to name drop or plug that rather later in the episode. And then, Totta, how are you?
Hiya, doing good as always. Pleasure to be back.
Yes, yeah, you guys are now becoming sort of like the furniture of the the Synth Pals Virtual Pub, which is fantastic. It means I've got someone to chat to when I do these things, you know. What I want to do is if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to go around and see what jumpers people have. So we're going to start with Neon Highway. Can you just show the viewers on YouTube what jumper you have there? Yes.
We have a Ghostbusters Christmas jumper.
Yeah.
The first one, because the wee ghost is not doing the two.
So, if you're not watching this, I'll describe it. It is a Ghostbuster themed T-shirt with the ghost from Ghostbusters with a wreath around it. Very inventive. And then we've got Zhao, who has a really, really cool jumper. So we've got like a synthwave style Christmas jumper there.
I think you may have won there.
I bought it maybe 3 years ago, and I knew one day this will come handy.
Now we've got two hats. So I'm wearing a Christmas hat, and so is Totta. Tim did have one, but it turned out it was quite small, so he's not. There you go, he's put it on now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this tiny little hat that is adorning his head at the top there. And just to wrap this off, I do have a Christmas jumper, and I'm a football fan, admittedly, being English as well, and it says it's coming home, ho, ho, ho. But after the result a few days ago, I feel a bit silly wearing this jumper. But hey-ho, you never know. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive straight into the 12 Days of Synthmas.
Don't forget Typherion's red mug.
Effects.
That was straight.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Apologies.
A lot of effort put into finding this. So thank you.
Now, what's great about this is with this platform, we're going to now move on to our next segment. Okay, there we go. Let's look at that sound effects. And this is the 12 Days of Synthmas. And the first question is, this question is one of mine. So it is, what is your favorite plugin of the year and why? So I'm going to spin this magic wheel here. Oh, Neon Highway. It's ended on you. So Neon Highway, what? Oh, it's clapping my ends. You can't hear that. What is your favorite plugin of the year and why?
Who was that? Sorry, you were breaking up.
Neon Highway.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Was that plugin of the year? Was it then? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't buy a lot of plugins or download a lot. I certainly haven't taken many this year, but I did opt in for the Ozone 10 trial a few weeks ago when Isotope released it. I've used Isotope Ozone 9 before. Fantastic piece of software. Even if you're not using it for its mastering capabilities, the modular plugins are absolutely phenomenal on it. Ozone 10 kind of steps it up a bit. It adds a few extra features in there. It's got some great little modules that are plugged into it for the new release. It makes things so much smoother. It's got that automatic sort of referencing that you can load in when you do your mastering on it. I like to use it as a starting point. You know, we let the algorithm do its bit, but I firmly believe that you shouldn't be just letting an algorithm do your complete master. So it's a great starting point. And then you can sort of tweak it using each of the modules, and you can add modules in and take them away. It's a fantastic piece of software. I don't think I can talk about it for 5 minutes because it was just the 10-day trial version that I got. But I think I spoke to Mark about it, and I'm pretty sure Mark ended up buying it as well. There is a slight difference for those that are maybe thinking, should I go from Ozone 9 if you've got it up to Ozone 10? There was a slight difference. I took a track that I'd mastered a few weeks ago. I did the same with Ozone 10, and it was a much richer, almost sort of harmonic content. It was a wider mix. It was clearer. It was just beautiful sounding. So if anything, you know, it's the only one that I've taken in the last year, but also I think it's a fantastic piece of software. It's my favourite plugin that I've had a look at and brought into sort of my work stream there.
Yeah, Ozone 11
I've been using the
will go
isotopes for
one
years.
more. It will go up to 11, won't it? So that'll be better.
Yeah, it can only go one more. But no, I mean seriously, it's very visual as well, so it appeals to different people, different ways of working. Some people are, you know, love that visual element, being able to see where everything is. The visual element really lets you sort of pick out a lot of stuff, and because it's all sitting within one suite, although it's different modules, it just works seamlessly. You know, everything's at your fingertips, from stereo imaging to the compressors, the EQs, dynamic EQs, vintage EQs. The matching EQ module is particularly good. It's fantastic, honestly.
You're doing well, Neon Highway. You've been trying to fill the 5 minutes. It's brilliant. Yeah, I've used or been using the isotope stuff here for years now, and I'm a really big fan of them. Particularly, I love the stereo imager. I love that plugin. But they've recently released the audio lens. Have you tried that? Where you can go in. I say go in. You open it, and it will capture whatever is playing on your desktop, and then you can use it. It's quite crude at the moment, but you can use it in the mastering process, but it's very limited in the way you can use it. But you can still get a capture of an EQ frequency response of a track. Have you tried it?
I tried downloading it. For some reason I couldn't load it into my DAW, but it does look good, and it was a free download, so once I kind of get past the initial kind of setup challenges, then I'm sure it'll be fantastic. I know we've talked about it. It does look like a great piece of software. I'm big fan of Isotope stuff. I've never had a poor Isotope experience. Everything that I've got from them, from the vocal synth to some of the other stuff that's kind of sitting in there. Do you know, and I got vocal synth last year. If I'd got it this year, then that would be number one. It's Isotope. It's just, I think they're flawless when they put out stuff. They really are very creative, very smart, and they market it really well as well.
Fantastic, folks. There we go. That is the favourite.
You're not endorsed, are you?
No, we're trying to get Mark some endorsement here, are we?
Yes.
What's the promo code you want us to use on checkout?
Exactly, that's what we want. So we'll move on to the next one. Thank you for that, Neon Highway Carl. Thank you very much. So this next one is from Typherion. So this is, how do you overcome writer's block? So I'm going to give you a bit of time to think while I spin the magic wheel. So that's, how do you overcome writer's block? Let's do the transition. And it's spinning. Okay, it's landed on you, Typherion, but you answer the question, so I'm going to spin it again. It's spinning again. Ooh, and it is your friend Esteves, Zhao. So how do you overcome writer's block, Zhao?
All right. How do you overcome writer's block? Well, you just have to write more, right? It's kind of one of those things that you just have to sit at a desk and write out crap until it becomes better. And I think it's the same for writers as well as for musicians, as well as for anything that involves creativity. You just have to sit there for 8 hours a day, well, if it's your full-time job, and just keep throwing out stuff. And some of it will be crap, some of it will be good. But I'd also say, at least with me, I need a break every now and then as well. So I might just take a side project. So, and I say completely away from music. Let's say if I'm not feeling inspired, I'll sometimes just close that laptop and take on a long hike or take on a different project, go for a long run or something like that. And that's just to refresh your brain, to see something different, to talk to other people. I mean, go to the pub, go talk to random folks. And I think any type of block sometimes just it means two things. Either you need to work harder or you need to work less. It's hard to know which one is the best one to take when you're at that junction. But yeah, with me, I tend to actually take a break and do other stuff for a while. I mean, it's not my full-time job, so I can afford that. And just come back when I feel better. But if it's a case of I feel like, I've had enough rest and I really need to produce something, I'll just sit down and actually book some hours a day, and I just sit in the studio nonstop, and I kind of like try to look for sounds that will inspire me to create a song. And sometimes it's going through the synths and like, oh, what does this do? And oh, that's a cool sound. Oh, let's explore a preset that I've never played with before. And even the ones I normally think, oh, I'll never use this, try to figure out, okay, let me shape this differently. What could we do with this? Sometimes what I do is also try to do covers, just to overcome that initial block, that when you feel like, oh, I can't think about doing anything of my own. Yeah, why not do a cover? Do a cover, just play with your instruments. At least you're still feeling productive, even if it's just for yourself, and play with it, or just do a jam, or just take on some silly TikTok challenge and write a couple of songs. What matters is that you keep having fun, you keep producing something, and then those jams that usually make up the stuff that you release, they will come in time. Speaking of time, how am I doing in time?
No, you're good. You're good. I could really do with the timer on the screen, couldn't I? No, we're good. So basically what you're saying is sort of like Remy is taking a step back and stepping away from whatever it is you're working on. And I'm a sinner for not doing that. I'll get so engrossed in a music production or a mix or something, and then realize hours have gone by, and then whatever I'm doing is not helping whatsoever. So I need to be more disciplined in that respect and actually take a break and move away from it.
Yeah.
And do what you said there. Go for a walk. Go to the pub.
Yeah. Sometimes one of these.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Strongbow?
No, this is Guinness.
Oh wow, I got that totally wrong, didn't I?
It's the
yeah.
Golden Heart.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Strongbow. Fantastic. Thank you very much, your friend Esteves. So that's overcoming writer's block. So we're rattling through these now. The next question is, what is the best music production lesson you learned this year? So just to give you a bit of time to think, I'll repeat it again. The best music production or songwriting, we'll say songwriting as well, lesson that you learned this year. Okay, and I'll just do my little transition. I'm going to spin this. And this was asked by Carmen Noodles, who couldn't make it today. So who's it going to fall on? And it's fallen on Totta. So the best music production or songwriting lesson.
So Sorry, you're lagging quite a bit for me, Mark, so I'm struggling to make it out clearly. But what production lesson or songwriting lesson that I learned this year?
This year, that's right, yeah.
Well, I guess since I'm more of a songwriter than a producer as such, even though I produce my tracks fully, I always send them to an engineer to actually balance it out and, balance it out for me, because I need that help. But I guess not judging I always call it that we use in Sweden this gaffa tape, silver tape, really thick tape. And it's like, if you can't fix things as an actual handyman, you just fucking put that tape on everything. And I usually come up with solutions for sound issues by using gaffa tape. Virtually, like if I can't find a noise for a siren, I will squeal into the mic and kind of just play around with that sound until it sounds like what I want. I couldn't find a piano sound that was 80s enough for the Christmas song that we're going to listen to later on today. So I found 2 really trashy presets and I put them on top of each other. And that somehow balanced it out. And instead of going and thinking that like, oh, it's too shabby to figure it out like this because it's just 2 shitty presets, actually being okay with like, okay, this was my solution and it actually sounds the way that I want, so I judge how I got there. So to be a bit more open with that. And I guess I'm moving on to multiple lessons now, but the next one is a very concrete, like straight up actual tip for songwriting, and that is to use more sixth as harmonies tonally. Use the sixes to get the drama in an 80s type chorus. It's just I don't know, I feel like it's underutilized for how much drama it can bring tonally, and I've been throwing it in a couple of my recent projects. I think as well in the Christmas song too that we're gonna listen to later. But it's just, it's a really, I don't want to say a cheap trick, but like if I could give every synthwave producer one thing to go home and try, is just make a chorus melody that has the sixths as the harmonies. It brings all the drama because you can move it around as much as you want, and it just sounds top notch.
Fantastic. So there we go, folks.
Yeah,
adding a sixth. No, that's perfectly fine. What I'll say, folks, is if you're approaching 5 minutes, I'll just say you're approaching 5 minutes, or you got like 30 seconds left. So going back to the first bit there, you mentioned about, I think it's quite important what you said there about if you're looking for a particular sound, it's being open to using different things, like you said, coming up with a siren and using your own voice and finding all these different sounds. Because once again, I know I've done this, and through the podcast, it's sort of helped me develop as a songwriter and a producer, in that I don't get hung up now on the first initial sound and thinking it's got to be perfect straight away. And that's what's always, I think, held me back personally from putting out more music, is thinking I've got this down now and it's got to be perfect straight away. So yeah, I totally agree with the gaffer tape side of things. We call it gaffer tape over here as well, or elephant tape. I think it might be called elephant tape as well. I don't know, I might be making that up. Fantastic, thank you, Totta. So the next question is from your friend Esteves, and this is, who do you send a project, like a work in progress, to for feedback, and why? Basically to get feedback on whether or not it's something that you should pursue as a project. So who do you send a project to for feedback, or who would you recommend sending it to? So let's do this. Spin the wheel. Well, and it's ended up on Aisle9. So Tim, what is your process if you're stuck on something, on a track or project, and you don't know whether you should continue? What is your process, or what would you recommend doing?
Yeah, I mean, I tend to sort of only send things out or like contact people when I'm a bit worried that there's something sort of not right about something, and I'm unsure whether my ears are playing tricks on me. I've been mixing a long time or something, and I'm just like sort of am I right about this? Is this sounding a bit dodge or not? You know, so that tends to be the point where I maybe sort of pick some producers like yourself, Mark. I've sent stuff to. I think I've sent stuff to Neon Highway. I sent some stuff to you. I sent some stuff to Mark. I sent, you know, to sort of other people I know who, you know, who might sort of like just give it a listen. But yeah, if I'm stuck on a tune, that's probably not what I do, because like I sort of, yeah, I mean sometimes, but I think mainly I sort of wrestled with it myself a little bit, like your friend Esteves is saying, you know, like you know, I think I think I sort of wrestle with it to sort of, I just go, well, I haven't written it right yet, I'm not happy with this, and just sort of sit with it and struggle with it manfully on until I give up and go and have a beer, you know. But like I sort of yeah, I sometimes so I actually get my wife to come in and have a listen, because she's got loads of really good ideas, and she does sort of hear it afresh, and she'll just sometimes say, like, you know, oh, that's really good, that's really working, that's sort of, or she'll get a feeling from it or a vibe from it, and then I think, like, okay, so if there are still problems with it, it's still worth working on because someone's getting a vibe from this. And sometimes I can tell that she's just not feeling anything from it, you know, and then I begin to think, like, I'm having problems with this, she's not feeling anything from it. I think it's time to just park it and go somewhere else, go leave it behind for a bit. So sometimes I think, I mean, she is musical, but like she, you know, it's not her main thing that she does, but like, you know, I think she comes at it still, she used to DJ a lot, so she comes at it with her DJ ears on, and I sort of think that's good in a way. She sort of sees it in a different way than I'm seeing it, you know, like to say, sort of thinking about a major sixth, I'll be thinking about something like that in the track, and she won't automatically go to those kind of things. She'll see it as an overall thing or something, or go like, oh, that, yeah, there's something really weird going on in the, and she won't know what it is, but in the bass or something, you know what I mean? Something will be bothering her, and it might just give me a clue as to what areas to look at. So, yeah, my other half actually is very good in those circumstances, I find. So there we go. You know, there we go. And you're much better when I want to know whether the EQ needs changing, Mark.
Well, that was good this week, wasn't it? The notes I sent back. I'm glad they married up with what you were thinking. That makes me feel a lot better.
They were fantastic. Yeah, they were. You gave me some feedback, which was absolutely spot on, exactly what I was thinking. But it really did help to get that back from you, because then I was like, yeah, it's not just me thinking these things. And, you know, because you can listen to something so many times, you've just lost focus on it. Yep. So it'd be really good at that point, definitely, to send it to someone else and get their feedback. But you do have to be wary that sometimes you have to ignore their feedback because they're wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if that makes sense.
And I think it's also
I know
quite
that sounds
good,
funny, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I go, no, I don't like this, and you go away and go, no, I still like that. That's the whole point of the tune.
Yeah.
No, it's staying in. Go away. But then you've at least made that as a decision. You know what I mean? You've not just fallen into it. You've gone, no, I'm sticking with that part. And if everyone else doesn't like it, damn them. You know, so it you know, it can be good to sort of stand your ground as well, I think. You know, it makes sense.
Most definitely. We're approaching the 5 minutes now, but that's great advice, R9 Tim. And also, what I find really useful about that process is if I'm hung up on something in a mix or a production, and I'm really unsure about it, if nobody else picks up on it, I find that quite useful as well, because that makes me think, actually, it's probably not as bad as I think it is, and it's probably because I've been sat with it far too long and I'm being really nitpicky.
Yeah.
So it's useful in that respect as well. So the next question is from Totta. So this is, what is your preferred release format, single, EP, album, and why? So what is your preferred release format, single, EP, album, and why? So let's spin. Actually, I think we've only got one person left. Typherion. Might as well just go straight to yourself. I've done everyone else. So Typherion, what is your preferred release format, single, EP, or album, and why?
I think I've only ever released EPs, but I have nothing against singles. But I think I prefer EPs mainly because a lot of my sound or a lot of my music is very thematic because I'm always inspired by other pieces of fiction. So I find that I can't encapsulate like one theme in one song. There's like a range of emotions that I'm trying to capture in a body of work. And that's why I find like an EP is pretty useful. But when it comes to like this generation that we're in right now with like the TikTok generation and people's attention, you know, like it's releasing like a 12-song album doesn't make sense to me. I also I can't warrant that kind of attention from people. I'm just an independent artist. I don't do this full time, right? Like, so I think just an EP, usually around right now I've been doing 3-song EPs, and I think that's probably and each song is around 5 minutes long, and I think that just makes sense to just keep people's attentions focused, and also be able to capture the, I guess, or at least maintain the artistic integrity.
Yeah. So with your EPs, then, do they have you mentioned themes in the thematic? So your 3 tracks, then, they're designed to be listened to sequentially, 1, 2, 3. Is that right?
Yeah. Usually, yeah. A lot of the times, because a lot of my sound is very cyberpunk, dark synth, so I do a lot of like existentialism, the usual kind of stuff that's in cyberpunk stuff, man and machine kind of stuff. I also have like a lot of anime inspiration stuff that I look into. Like, there's my favorite piece of fiction is Berserk, and there's like a ton of different things from like philosophical concepts from guys like Nietzsche and things like that are really really powerful, that I try to capture in the sound. And it's difficult because I don't have any human voice, right? So it's all instrumental. So how do you capture that through a waveform, right? So that's always fun and kind of puzzling, but yeah.
Amazing. What about singles then? Do you what's your thoughts on putting out singles, or would you just solely do the EPs? Or because I predominantly put out singles purely because my workflow is so bloody slow. But when it comes to the gaps in between the EPs, do you put singles out in between, or do you just leave it solely EP?
I've been thinking about that because I have such an absurd writing process. It takes me forever to write, and so I've been thinking, because I have so many unfinished ideas. I talked about this last time, so I figured like maybe I can just like barf out one as a single in between my EPs, right? I have nothing against singles. It's just I guess because I've always viewed my work as something to do thematically, I just have trouble capturing it in one song.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think I've been banging on about putting out an EP for quite some time now, and it's just a slow process for me. But I'm definitely in favour of EP. I've put albums out when I was in a metal band, purely because it was the thing we did. There was no sense in us putting out a single, so we put out these albums, and it would take us 2 or 3 years to put the album together and then record it. But you've got this product at the end, and I do like the album, but I'm certainly in favour of the EP. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Typherion. So that's almost up to the 5 minutes on that one then. So the next question, and this pretty much just leaves me for this one. So, and I like this question as well. This is from Aisle9. And I'll be quick because I'll be intrigued to get somebody else's thoughts on this one. So what is the one thing about producing music that you would like to put into Room 101, which I've now switched to Room 808? So if you're not familiar with Room 101, it is a UK... It's not a talk show. It's not a comedy show, really, is it? It's it's a chat show, isn't it? It's like an interview, whereby you select something that sort of grinds your gears that you're not particularly fond of, and you can put it into this hole or this room called Room 101, and it goes there, and you don't see it again. So that's the premise or the idea behind it. So my thoughts on this one. And actually, I think this would be quite good. I'll make it really quick because I'd like to go around and get everybody else's sort of room. The one thing they'd like to get rid of about producing or songwriting. And mine is drum programming, because I'm not a drummer and I find it tedious, drum programming. So this is why I've now moved on to I've got my MIDI keyboard, and I've got my pads as well, and I'm triggering sounds and I'm triggering drum sounds, and I've moved to that because I find using a mouse and triggering samples in drum programming, it's tedious. Yeah, that's what I would put into Room 808, purely because it's time consuming, and for me, whenever I do it, it just doesn't sound the way I particularly want it. So that's me. That's my Room 808. So let's quickly go around then. So Aisle9, what would you put into Room 808 for songwriting and music production?
2 kilohertz. You just don't need it. Pointless, isn't it? What's the point? 2 kilohertz. Just spend your entire time trying to get it out of things, you know. Have a go.
Yeah. 2 kilohertz. All right.
No,
so
it's a very, very producer comment, but like, you know. Yeah. I've gone for a frequency band. It's just like, harshness in that sort of frequency. Actually, it's not just the 2. It's the harsh bits that sit in the upper mid and the lower mid mud that sits. They're just like these sort of, you know, if I could just magically get rid of them instead of having to spend my entire time working out where they're coming from in mixes and how much of them I need in a guitar of the 2 kilohertz to kind of get it to cut, or a voice to get it to cut 2 to 4 kilohertz, and yet if there's too much of it, it's too harsh and I don't like it, you know. So it's that, sort of EQing.
No, I'm with you on that one.
Issues. Yeah.
Fantastic. Neon Highway, Room 808. What would you chuck in there?
I don't really know.
You can't say Russell.
So I'm going to go with. Well, I'm going to go with what I wish had never come into electronic music. And I know there can be applications for this, and it works if it's used really well. But autotune, autotune just is giving me shivers. It's making my shoulders go up just now. Just if it's used in a really creative manner, then yes, it's great. Unfortunately, 90% of the time it's used just as a gimmick, you know. Ever since Cher released that Believe song in 1998 or whatever, ever since that time, it's just like, oh God, did it as again, autotune.
Do you mean that
so
kind of really
that would be me?
Auto-tuney sort of the? You mean the auto-tune?
When it's overused, when it's overused,
not the kind of sort of seamless, you know, sort of use of it in the background where you don't really know it was ever on it, you know.
100%. I think, you know, when it is used well, it can be really nice, and sometimes it can be used. I like it when people just put in one phrase or even one syllable of a word in the lyrics, and it just emphasizes that and gives it that punch in certain songs. And you're like, that's that 1/2 a second I remember of that song as being the bit that makes me want to go back to the start and play it again, just so I can arrive at it all over again. But when it's just overused in that way in pop music, that needs to go in 101. Out of here.
Fantastic. Okay, so thank you. So we've got
Ian Curtis would have never used it.
We've got drum programming. We've got frequency bands. We've got low mids and presence frequencies as well. 2 kilohertz. We've got auto tune. Typherion, what sort of grinds your gears with songwriting and producing that you'd like to eliminate?
Sorry, you cut it. Was that me?
Yeah, sorry, Typherion, yeah. So the same question to yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So this is sorry, what are the rooms again? 101 and 808? Are they both awful?
Yeah, we're flicking between the two here, aren't we? So they're both the same room. They've just got 2 different numbers.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. This is a double-edged sword, but I think sidechain compression, I'd throw it in there. I use it a lot, and I think a lot of people do, but sometimes it's so overdone that it's like there's too much bounce. There's like too much suctioning happening that I'm like, oh, my ears. Like it's just, I can't listen to any of the melodies in the song when all I hear is like kick, bass, like over and over again. And it's like such an I don't know what it is. I think the ratio, or it's too high. And that, like, it actually like annoys me. And so like I can't do this. But I use it a lot too. Maybe my stuff sounds like that. I don't know. So
no, I agree with you on that one. And I've heard I've had mixes sent over to me where there's a bit too much side chain compression. It is very distracting. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I think I use it quite a lot as well. I say quite a lot. I use it with most tracks. But I think you have to be sparing with it, otherwise you just get this throughout the whole thing. And yeah, I'm with you on that one. So Zhao, what yourself? What would you chuck into Room 101 or 808, whatever we're calling it at the moment? What would you chuck in there?
I'd probably chuck in a part of the process. I love the part where I write the songs and then they're just there roughly mixed, and then there's like a good amount of hours left until they sound okay. If I could just like give it to Marc, hey Marc, do this for me, will you? and it comes out pristine and beautiful, and I don't have to spend endless hours figuring out what's annoying me or why does this track, the snare sounds so good, and that track is the exact same EQ settings, and it's just all the instruments around it just mod it. And I love a bit of that. But let's say, and going back to what Typherion was saying before, it's fine if you're launching like 3 tracks. If you're producing like 8 tracks, it can take so long, and by the end of it, you're just consumed by it, and you don't want to see mixing ever again until next year. So yeah, I chuck that part of the process if I could. It's nice for a little bit. If you have to do 8 songs, it's a pain.
Yeah. So you're going from sort of moving from that. That's what mixing is creative, but you're going from that songwriter element to then the actual mixing part, and it is a time-consuming part. And I think when you're mixing your own music as well, I know I take infinitely longer doing my own stuff purely because I'm so picky with my own music, whereas the stuff the mixes I do for other people probably sound better because I'm not going in and moving things around that I don't need to. So I'm with you on that one. So the final one, Totta, what would you sort of like to chuck into this void that we've created with regards to songwriting or music production?
Sorry, we're on me now.
Yes, sorry. Am I breaking up?
Totta.
Is this...
Yeah, but all good. So mine's a bit out of place, but that's the thing that makes me want to fucking chuck it in there. And it's fucking marketing on social media.
Oh, yeah.
When I want to be a fucking musician, don't make me try to do fucking TikToks. Like, just let me make music. Let me perform my music. But why do I have to sell myself and fucking educate myself on fucking Instagram algorithms when I'd rather learn how to fucking record drums? You know, like the way that marketing just kind of bottlenecks all music now is just, it has such a chokehold on me. I hate, definitely hate that part. I see now how good I had it in my band with, you know, an actual agency and such, like backing us and getting the word out there.
Sorry to cut you off. Can I change my answer? Because that's 100%. That's that's my biggest pet peeve too. Actually,
it's the best answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I also have to. It's a completely unrelated thing,
so.
but I have to tell you, Marc, that with your Santa hat on and your headphones, you do look a bit like Ali G. But there we go. That's all right.
Jesus. Sacha Baron Cohen. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a reference. If anyone gets that, what's that, like circa 2003, 2004, something like that?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I will now add a
but
little
no,
bit of
I
sample.
totally,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Marketing is an incredibly time-consuming process, and doing the podcast and music as well. I have to divvy up my time, and basically, I just put it all into marketing the podcast now because there's only so many hours in the day. But it is like when you want to be creating or writing something, and then just creating something just because you feel like you should have to put something on social media to have a presence. It is tiring. I would chuck that in there as well. Looking at the nodding faces here, I think everybody would agree. It probably is the number one.
I don't think there's many
you,
people who make music who enjoy it these days. I think we all hate it, don't we?
Yeah. Folks,
Can't we just
after
pay
that
some
slight
big
detour,
marketing department?
maybe we'll put our money in together. Still won't. I doubt it would go very far. So what we'll I'm going to jump ahead a bit because of time, because we went on a slight detour there. But there is one question that I want to throw out there, and this is one that Tim came up with, and it is slightly off top. It's not off topic, but it is. Is there a gap for musical theatre synthwave? And if so, what musical, or rather, maybe what film would you adapt into a musical that would be synthwave based? So it could be any film or TV program, I guess, or maybe an event that you would like to adapt for a synthwave musical theatre. So I'm going to do the.
I'm sorry.
Well, I can't wait for this. Here we go. Let's do the. So synthwave musical theatre. And it's ended on me, but I've just answered.
I always set these questions and I don't know what to answer them myself.
So we'll spin again. Oh no, it has. It's ended up on you, R9. So I'll spin again until I get someone it hasn't been on. Neon Highway. There we go. There we go. So Neon Highway. What film would you adapt or TV program into a synthwave musical? Neon Highway.
Labyrinth. I mean, I'm going with Labyrinth because do you know what? It's amazing already. It's got a great story to it. It would adapt theatre really well. Musically, you've got some crazy stuff going on with synthesizers in the movie already. The soundtrack's got all these really kind of dissonant arps going on and all that kind of stuff in the background. You know, David Bowie songs aside, which are amazing, and that could be your cover versions, although I wouldn't like to have a go at trying to cover David Bowie, you know, do it a disservice. But all that other stuff, the incidental music and the transitional stuff, some great synthy stuff in there already. It would be an amazing piece of musical theatre. And you've got all the puppetry, you know, that people would just love all that stuff. Puppets jumping about the stage. You've got the Chili on Down song with the guys with the red heads getting thrown up in the air. Cool. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
No, that's a great choice. I never thought of Labyrinth. Is it Jim Henson, isn't it? I'm sure it is. It does the puppetry.
Yeah, yep.
It
Absolutely.
is, isn't it? Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. If I had to choose, actually, I would. This is quite apt, actually, because you've got the jumper there. I'd go with the Ghostbusters. I'd love to see like a synthwave Ghostbusters, like musical, especially Ghostbusters 2 as well with Prince Vigo. I think Prince Vigo with some sort of like neon would be so good.
It would be like Jeff Goldblum and Ragnarok, wouldn't he? It'd be more updated into that kind of visual. Prince Vigo with these silver kind of high collars and. You
can imagine the Statue of Liberty as well, or like lit up when it comes in at the end. I'd totally go with Ghostbusters too. I'll do one more spin. We'll get another one. Let's do another spin. And it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. And Aisle9. There we go. All right, Aisle9. We'll let you answer your own question on this one because I don't want to spin it again. What would you select?
I keep on thinking of sort of things that I'm just being obtuse and thinking of ones that really wouldn't work, like sort of classic Charles Dickens and like sort of Pride and Prejudice and old sort of style, like, you know, sort of like Darcy turns up and like, you know, by the lake or something, like one of these sort of things, and then suddenly it's just loads of cyberpunk or something, you know. I just like sort of, I like the idea of just something that doesn't naturally fit the genre. But, you know, maybe we could do a synthwave version of E.T., I don't know. But like, you know, it's you know, some sort of, or like, yeah, and everything I think of is obtuse and wouldn't work, but like, you know, so that's not very helpful, is it? Like I said, The Sound of Music earlier, the synthwave version. I'll leave it at that. That's Christmassy enough.
That actually reminded me of if you guys watched Bridgerton and the
Bridgerton
and the way they've
that's a great choice.
Yeah, so you could have actually replaced all those contemporary songs that they've played with classic arrangements, but do like a neon synthwave version of Bridgerton. And,
I mean, that was an interesting point, though, because there was another one that they did. There was a period drama where they did quite a lot of this kind of modern stuff, like music in it. And And I did actually really like it. It's funny. It's like, Bridgerton was quite groundbreaking in lots of ways in that way, like trying to break a lot of boundaries. I think bizarrely it worked really well, So maybe, the next way up is to sort of take something like that period drama and mix it up and put lots of dystopian weirdness in it. Yeah, that'd be good. And neon loveliness. Combo the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
maybe.
the sound of that. And going back to the Pride and Prejudice as well, I'm sure there was a zombie version of that. I'm sure there is, or something. So I'm sure there is. I'm not going to look it up now.
It's really popular.
Yeah, I knew there was.
Pride and Prejudice with zombies. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't going crazy. I knew that it existed. So, I mean, it's been adapted in other ways. So I'm sure it can be done. There you go. It's a challenge for 2023. Find someone who's willing to do it, or find someone else who will do all that work, and you say, "Yeah, I'll score it for you." That's what you want. Something along those lines. That'd be good, folks. Because at the end, I want to play the Christmas not jingles. That's disservice. That is Christmas songs from Totta and Aisle9. I'm just we'll include that in the 12 days of Synthmas. It's a loose 12. This number, as time is getting away from us. But there is one question that I want to throw in there, and this is quite a good one. What music production or songwriting tool or technique could you not live without, and why? So, what music production, songwriting tool or technique could you not live without, and why? Excluding a DAW. Because I put this out on the Facebook community, and somebody came back with DAW, and I shot myself in the foot. So, eliminating the DAW. You cannot use DAW. So I'm going to spin it. Go. Oh, it's ended up on you, Tim. So I'm going to spin it again because you just answered.
You've rigged this, Tim. This is like that time you kicked me off the podcast.
Sorry.
It's just on your friend Esteves. It was going to go Aisle9 again. Your friend Esteves says, Zhao, what music production tool or technique or songwriting could you not live without? Or hardware. We'll chuck hardware in there as well, because you got a lot there.
Yeah. I could live without the hardware. I mean, you only need is the computer. Now that you've eliminated that answer and the DAW, I have to go deeper. I was thinking I'm going to exclude hardware because I can definitely live without. But
okay.
Within the DAW, there are certain VSTs that absolutely have to be there. They just make life so much easier. And I was trying to figure out which one do I love the most. And I'm going to go really basic for a moment, but you have to remember life before you have virtual instruments where you could like just compose. Nowadays, I grab a MIDI keyboard and like get something there and change the sound until I hit the sound I like for that particular phrase. For me, like now rewind 40 years without that, and then you all of a sudden you have this. It sounds like magic, and I think that for me, and since I've started writing music, that has been the thing that I absolutely love the most, and it's just priceless. Especially when you to complete my answer, I do work with a lot of analog gear. And so I experience the pain of sometimes not having that. So when I feel lazy, I just do that, and God, it's so much easier. But I still love the hardware.
Fantastic, great answer there. Yeah, I would agree on that. I don't have any hardware, unfortunately, so I'm totally in the box. But yeah, I'd very much be the same. I think when I have had instances where the hardware has been available, more so with regards to like mixing, when I've had sort of hardware compressors and hardware reverb units and stuff, and I still find myself sat in front of the computer at a big SSL duality desk, and I was still using Waves plugins. For me, I'm going to answer that question. I think the one VST actually that I couldn't live without, and I use on pretty much every mix I do, is the SSL mix bus compressor by Waves. Absolutely love that plugin.
Same here.
Fantastic. Yeah. I thought you were an avid user. It's brilliant, isn't it? And it's on every mix bus.
It is.
I absolutely love it. It's such a, and it's so cheap as well. It's like $29.99.
Yeah.
Dollars, I think, whatever that equates to.
Yeah.
We'll do another spin. We'll get another one from someone. It's spinning. It's spinning. Oh, Typherion. Typherion, what could you not live without?
My guitar, because my workflow is so heavily dependent on me starting out there and then keying in everything into MIDI, because I don't have any keyboards or anything like that. So my guitar is essentially my keyboard. And so if I don't have that, then I'm essentially handicapped. Like I wouldn't be able to like hop into a MIDI editor. And I don't use any preset ARPs either. I write all mine from scratch. So yeah,
Really?
it would have to be my guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So you're writing all your ARPs from scratch. So you're writing the ARPs. I remember having this conversation I saw online where you mentioned ARP and arpeggio, because being a guitarist as well,
Yes.
I knew exactly what
Yes.
you meant. So you're writing them,
Yeah.
you're writing them on guitar and then transposing them into MIDI
Yeah.
and doing it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I just write the riffs or ARPs or something like that, and then I just put them into MIDI. Because I don't know, I just have so much more control over the sound if I just write it myself. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so much more comfortable with the guitar as well. So it just makes sense.
Is your guitar acting like is acting like a hardware controller in the same way that a synth would? Is that how you're inputting it into MIDI?
No. So actually, I actually just jam out on the guitar, and then I use my mouse to just open up the key editor, and I just click into. I have my guitar I hold it, and I just like figure out the note, and then I put each individual note in like that.
That's incredible.
At some point, Typherion, I will have to send you. There's a plugin that I've tried once, which is a MIDI jamming sort of plugin type thing, and I've forgotten which one it is now because some of them are terrible. But this one I tried, and you can basically just play your guitar, and it converts it into MIDI with no extra bits at all, nothing.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, extra hardware. And it did a surprisingly good job of it. And I was like, I really ought to be using this more often. So yeah.
I've been on the market for I've been looking at like MIDI pickups and things like that I can get installed into my guitar, but that also seems like a bit of a hassle. But this actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, cool. I might message you then on that.
Yeah. If I can remember what it is, it might be worth it.
Right. Cool.
Fantastic. Thanks, Typherion.
Yeah, my
That's
guitar.
I need to do more of that, man. I need to. Being a guitar, I don't know why I don't do it. Having played guitar since I was 14, so almost 20 years. And when I'm songwriting, I'm sat here with a MIDI keyboard. I'm not even a pianist, and I play guitar. I'm like, why don't I just play guitar and do that? I need to do more of that. So we're coming towards the hour mark. So as part of the 12 days of Synthmas, we've got 2 Christmas songs, and we will let's go with what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you just to sort of introduce the song and the name of the song, and maybe just a tiny bit about it. So we've got 2. So we've got one from Totta and we've got one from Aisle9. So we're going to play them all the way through, and then play the next one all the way through with a bit of a chat in between. So let's go, Totta. So do you want to tell the audience a bit about your Christmas song? When it's going to be released, or the release date, because it's probably going to come out afterwards, and the name of the track and a bit about it?
That was me first?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, right. So the track is called Angels Sing. Very not creative, because it's all I sing in the chorus, I feel like. It's getting officially released on the 1st of December, so this is a bit of a sneak preview premiere. And some fun facts, I guess. I know I spoke about killing your darlings in earlier episodes and such, and being all like, oh, cut out things that you don't need, try to keep it tight. But I'm fucking obsessed with vocals, and I'm fucking obsessed with harmonies, and I'm fucking obsessed with choirs. So I finally gathered an IRL choir for this. I just got all of my friends that could sing, made them come to my studio, made my audio engineer come, record and sing himself in that choir too, and tried to build my own little Christmas choir out of them. They're only 7 people, but found cool ways to manipulate it, to add layers of them on top of each other. So just, I'm really proud of my friends for joining. Sounds really corny.
Fantastic.
But
no,
yeah.
that's brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to play it now. This is the first time I've ever played a song back using this platform. So if it doesn't work, if you don't hear anything, just holler. I'm hoping it will. This is the first time we've done this. So let's give it a go. Now, the transitions have been working, so let's hear it. So this is Angels Sing.
Silent is the night when darkness holds us tight. Whispers in the night say that we will see the light. Stars shine brightest in darkness. They guide us through the night. And if we have each other, our stars will soon align. I'll be with you for Christmas time this year, I know. It don't matter how far, I'll find you through the snow. And I will go to the end of time for you to hear the angels sing. It's cold out, the night is quiet now. So light a fire and stand together. Look around you now and just reach out your hand. Tonight we'll band together. Yes, we will see the light. I'll be with you for Christmas time this year, I know. It don't matter how far, I'll find you through the snow. And I will come to the end of time for you to hear the angels sing. And anytime you fall, I'll be the one to lift you up and say, we will find a love where angels sing. Angels Everybody now. Come on down and hear the angels sing. Come on down and hear the angels sing. Oh, come down and hear the angels sing. Come on down and hear the angels sing. Come on down and hear the angels sing. Come on down and hear the angels sing. Oh, come down and hear the angels sing. Come on down and hear the angels sing.
Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Apologies.
That's
Totta.
awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So good,
Having
that.
never done that before, I should give us some sort of activity to do or something on the screens because to me it's very odd. I've never played music back on the podcast before, so I don't really know what to do while it's playing. But that was brilliant. I love that. That bit at the end there as well totally caught me off guard. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that was cool.
Incredibly festive. Oh, I love it.
Right?
That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
There we go. So that is Angels. I'll put a link
I love
in the
that.
episode description and show notes for that as well, so the
Great
audience
stuff.
can go and check it out. Because I think this episode's going to come out after the release date, but we'll chuck that in there. No, that's fantastic. There we go. All right, R9, you've got your one coming up next. Let's a bit about your music, a bit about your Christmas song, Tim. What have we got?
Well, it's called Christmas '84. It's coming out on the 2nd of December, so on the Friday, and it's basically a look back at what Christmas was like in my memory, certainly from 1984, which I actually do remember just about. So there we go. It was that kind of sort of thing of like a little bit like, I think we look at these things with rose-tinted spectacles, obviously, because nostalgia is like that a little bit, which is kind of good. It's kind of nice. So I was sort of thinking about that a little bit, and the nostalgia vibes of Christmas, but also like there are a few lyrics in there about like things like the miners' strike and things like that, things that we were going through that weren't nice. You know, it wasn't all a lovely time, but like, so it's a bit of a mixture of those things. It also managed to get in absolutely loads of 80s song references in there, so you can try and pick out as many of them out of the lyrics as you can find. And, you know, there's definitely a lot of 80s like influence on it, like sort of retro pop influence on it there. But like, yeah, I've never written a Christmas song before. I hate them. So I don't know what got me into it, but like, I somehow got caught up in it all. Totta was writing when Marc said, and I just thought, I'll stop being sort of funny about this and maybe just like write something and enjoy it. And I really did enjoy it. So there we go. And my daughter sort of sung on it as well. She helped me with a bit of vocals on the chorus, mainly just so that Cool Maui couldn't say that I was singing like a girl, because he mainly says that. So I just thought, like, I'll actually get a girl to sing it, you know, then he can't say that, you know. But like, no, so it was great fun. It was really good. And, you know, I think it's a little bit, it's a very Christmassy song, but with a slight twist with the lyrical kind of thing. So I think, but, you know, somebody said to me worryingly, I don't know if this is good or bad, they said it's like Eurasia made a Christmas album and this was the title track. And I thought, I'm not sure if I'm happy with that comment or not. But there we go.
I think it sounds very OMD.
OMD,
got very
that's
OMD
better.
scene.
I'll take OMD anytime. Yeah.
Right, folks, here we go. This is, I remember that. I think that was one of the Instagram lives we were having this conversation about Christmas songs. And I think off the back of it, I decided I was going to do something, much to my behest now, because it's absorbed my life. Yeah, this is Christmas '84 by Aisle9.
Christmas '84, just a young boy standing in the snow. Well, I remember when we all tried to feed the world, and do they know it's Christmas made me cry. Well, I can still recall when Maggie made us sell it all, left penniless miners with no pits. Women dancing in the dark underneath that purple rain, living in a box to band the bomb. So lift me up on angel wings, I want to fly. Darkest winter's night, above fields of dreams, over Christmas sky. Staring at a photograph from Christmas '84, the face in the glass still looks like mine. Footloose and fancy free, with only music and guitars to fill up all my precious time. Well, I can still recall hanging stockings on the wall, peeling tangerine dreams from my bed. I've watched the Queen of Three, Fools and Horses on TV, fall asleep with ZX chip tunes in my head. So lift me up on angel wings, I want to fly.
Darkest winters now, above fields of dreams, over Christmas skies.
Yeah, there we go. Very, very good.
Thank you.
Some fantastic.
Awesome.
I say some. It's two fantastic Christmas songs there. Those squidgy electronics, Tim. What are they? I gotta know.
Which was that?
The breakdown.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
breakdown, there's like some squidgy electronic thing. This is R9. Neon Highway described it as squidgy electronics, and that's what it sounds like. It's like I can't even make the noise.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Weird shit. I don't know. Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
What is
synths, basically. Yeah, yeah. But like, yeah,
Here we go.
and some guitars and stuff. But yeah, squidgy electronics is a good description. Yeah.
Mark, on your next song, you gotta go. And that's what you gotta do.
That sounds like the Prodigy
I should've
song
sang
Charlie the
that.
Cat. Remember? Charlie says.
This is why Mark doesn't have any hardware. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, I don't need it. I've got me.
I felt like the BVs weren't quite as exciting as the entire choir of angels from Totta. I was trying to do a choir of angels on my own. You know, it wasn't really quite as impressive. Yeah, sounded great. Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's one of the things, isn't it? Like vocal choirs are great fun to do. That kind of thing.
That was fantastic. Thank you both for sharing. It's great to play that back on the podcast, and I think it's something of maybe on these Synth Pals virtual pub things we incorporate a bit more because it's not a function that I thought was available on this platform that I use, and now I know it is. If anyone ever has like maybe it's Christmas, so we'll do the full song. Maybe it's just like a snippet of a track that they're releasing or something. I think that might be quite cool to chuck at the end, but we can discuss that off air. So as usual with this, we'll just go round and then you can do the usual where they because if
We're not gonna hear your track.
Listen to the podcast now.
Well, we're not going to hear yours.
Oh, it's not ready.
Oh,
It's not ready. It's not ready, unfortunately. What I'll do is I will put it at the end, maybe, of this. It's it's a labour of love now. It really is.
Still daddy squidgy bits.
I know. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to it and I'm going to get rid of Johnny's guitar solo and just have me going over the whole thing instead. You'll love that. Or maybe harmonise with it. I could probably harmonise with his guitar, maybe. I don't know. Tim, where can our audience find you online?
at Aisle9 Music, if you're looking for my socials, basically you find me pretty much everywhere apart from Twitter, which is at Aisle9 Synthwave. Then they can find me on Aisle9, Spotify, Apple, Deezer, wherever you want to be. Yeah.
Fantastic. Neon Highway, same question.
At Neon Highway Synth on Instagram, and pretty much everything goes from there.
Fantastic. Totta?
You'll find all my music on any streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music and such, just under Totta. And any of my social medias is Totta's Voice.
Fantastic. Your Friend Esteves.
That would be Your Friend Esteves with an S at the end. And and except for Twitter, because it's a really long tag, so it's YF Esteves. And yeah, same thing, all streaming services, but I do encourage people to go to Bandcamp first and support artists there.
Fantastic. And finally, last but not least, Typherion.
Yeah, all streaming services. On Instagram, it's typherion.exe. And then, everywhere else, Typherion. If you Google search Typherion, I think I'm the first thing that comes up, which is cool. You'd think like a gladiator would come up or something, right? But it's just me, so.
You sell yourself short, mate. Folks, big thank you for this. It's been fantastic. It's a new way of doing things, and it's been great. And I hope you have a great Christmas, and I will catch up with you all soon.
Excellent. Merry Christmas.